Hey everyone, welcome back to one of our hot takes with the Bitcoin way. I've got Rick and Tony. The financial world seems to be on fire, and sometimes that trickles into the physical world. So hopefully things shake out well. And best wishes to everyone who is responding to, as Tony puts it, a lot of red on the charts. So Tony, we're not going to dive into like what precisely and mechanically is happening right now, but Bitcoin, I think I just told you is we're sub $50,000 Bitcoin right now, so we're well off of our all-time high. A lot of people are panicking. What is your first reaction and maybe some advice to anyone watching this?
This is expected. This was all coming. Everybody knew this was coming. There's all this talk about how bad the fiat system is, how it's collapsing, how it's debasing, how all these, problems are just brewing. And there you go, boom, it just happened. So, rule number one, just calm down. There's nothing to panic about, specifically with regards to Bitcoin. I mean, it's catastrophic what's happened in Japan and how the reaction, the aftermath. Obviously, it's not a pretty sight. There's a lot of red going on. But it's important to remember that the fundamentals of Bitcoin, why you're in Bitcoin in the first place, has not changed one iota. In fact, that specific event that just took place is a God-sent confirmation that you're in Bitcoin for the right reasons. Because if you're not, then yes, then you absolutely have a reason to cry. But when you understand money and fundamentally know that the legacy fiat system is a complete scam and it's falling apart, this doesn't faze you. In fact, I don't like seeing people get hurt, but on the flip side of that, it just reaffirms my bullishness for what I've always believed for the last, several years, specific to Bitcoin. Calm down, everything's okay. You've been wondering if you've missed the boat on Bitcoin. Now's your chance.
Yeah.
So now that it's gone down,
Yeah.
20% or so, don't panic. Be happy. Go out and buy what it is that you think you've missed on. This is not the time to cry. This is really the time to buy here. Leave the crying to those that understand nothing about money. Those people, they have a reason to cry because they don't know any better. And for whatever reason, are maybe not necessarily interested in educating themselves, improving their lifestyles, and finding the exit, which is Bitcoin in self-custody. So that's my take. I mean, nothing has changed. Again, stay calm, no crying, pure buying. This is a Bitcoin shopping sale. Think of it that way.
Yeah. The qualifier on that is don't panic if you have Bitcoin in proper self custody. If you have no Bitcoin in proper self custody, run around and cry as your heart desires. Rick.
Yeah, I would echo Tony's thoughts, really. I think it's all a case of perspective, right? I tweeted something from our the Bitcoin Way Twitter account today, which, by the way, if you're not following, you should. But it was an old video that was recorded 9 years ago, where the guy's like explaining how, it went from 9 cents to 25 cents, and then it crashed all the way back down to 13 cents. And I think the point of that video is like you need perspective, right? Bitcoin versus the dollar over the last sort of 10 years is close to 40,000% change in its US dollar price. So I guess if you've been around a little while, you look at a price like $50,000 and you kind of feel like, well, you know what, this isn't this is hardly a disaster, right? It's hardly suggesting that Bitcoin is dead or is going to die. I think we're well past that point. But what I think it does tell us a little bit is it informs us about how maybe sophisticated a lot of people who are buying Bitcoin are or are not. Because I think we're still in this world where a lot of people see Bitcoin just purely as a speculative gamble, where they can take some money, they can buy some Bitcoin and they're hoping they'll double their money in 6 months, 12 months and pull it out again back into dollars. And that kind of belies an ignorance around the fact that, this isn't just an investable asset. It's a superior form of money to US dollars. So, if you have a proper long term time horizon, these kind of dips, you need to almost get used to them because it's an emergent technology as well. We're only 15 years into this. It's never going to be some sort of magic wand where suddenly we flip onto a Bitcoin standard overnight and the world is all glorious and easy. This is a disruptive technology and it causes disruption. So the reality is, people are selling because they're panicking, and it's because they've maybe not done the homework to understand what Bitcoin really is. And the final thing I'd say to people is like, look, Bitcoin is volatile. That's likely to remain the case while the world is so crazy. And it's a really good reminder that you really shouldn't be using leverage, because you're likely to get wiped out. And, when you see influencers suggest products or platforms to you where you can deposit your Bitcoin as collateral to get a loan in US dollars, understand how risky that can be and how likely it can be that you lose all your Bitcoin because, you take a loan out as Bitcoin as collateral, but the value of your collateral cuts by 20%, then they're going to ask you to deposit more collateral. And you can very quickly find yourself insolvent and lose all your Bitcoin. So, and like you were saying, Michael, people need to come to this and understand that you really need a 5, 10, 15, well, even better, 50-year time horizon, right? This is a shift from inferior money to superior money. So you just got to stay calm and ride it out. I mean, what the US dollar is not a sensible option, right? So I think just stay the course. Try not to look at those red candles and those flashing screens. They're designed to get an emotional response out of you, like a gambling machine, right? All the flashing lights, like it's designed to trigger you into making silly mistakes. So just relax. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's still the hardest asset in the world, you know?
The silver lining for folks who still are living in fiat world is I don't see any chance that the Fed doesn't step in here, print its way into whatever coverage they need for people who are losing their shirts. It's an election year, right? I mean, so like it or not, the Fed is not perfectly independent. There's a political gain to be had here by fixing this mess before November. I saw something really good from Preston Pish. I'm going to share. So someone was talking about Bitcoin. And he said, "Isn't it gorgeous? A real free and open market without some blanket holding, mouth breathing Wall Street suit calling their friend to pull a circuit breaker. A market where only the fit surviving can endure such volatility, and so on and so forth." And this is at odds with, I think Robinhood has already like cut off trades. Like it's like the most classic interventionist, sort of stuff that you would imagine. Like that's what's coming. And so in the short term, to all of you fiat bros out there, you're going to be saved in nominal terms anyway. And a bunch of poor people are going to pay the price, 18 months from now, a couple of years from now, whenever the inflation strikes. So that I think so you have a chance to buy Bitcoin on sale today, but you have an enormous opportunity to benefit probably in the midterm, over the next couple of years as the consequences of what are, in my view, very likely to happen unfold. So it's this is just this is the only way it can play out, right? I mean, you paper over a problem and in nominal terms everyone wins, and then the next problem comes because you papered over the last one, and here we are. We're just at, we're in round 10 of papering over problems or whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%. Japan is the new Lebanon as far as I'm concerned. Poof, there it goes. I mean, fundamentally,
Yeah.
fiat is the problem. If you still consider Bitcoin the risky asset, what do you consider fiat after this calamity that just took place? And this, by the way, is coming to every country one by one. So it's starting with Japan now. Who's the next country? It's anyone's guess. Fundamentally, for those that are panicking, think about it. Fiat, broken money, is the cause of all this. Government corruption, inefficiencies, theft, money printing. All of this is what led to this explosion, disaster in Japan, right? So if you are selling a hard asset like Bitcoin to go back to that same moronic currency that caused this problem in the first place, what does that say? Just think about it this way. Yes, it sucks that
Yeah.
if you're looking at your portfolio, it's down 20%. Oh my gosh, it's going down to zero. That's an immature, childish reaction to emerging technology, to, as Rick pointed out, it's disruptive technology. What did you think was going to happen? That, little Candyman was going to come, flick a switch, and you're going to go buy your Ferrari, after a week, after investing $500 in Bitcoin? Like, grow up, okay? Bitcoin is the real deal. It's the hardest asset. It's the scarcest asset humanity has ever known. It is the only viable solution to this cancerous problem that we have, which is fiat money. The calamity that just happened in Japan cannot be fixed. It can only be replicated. And the fix for this is a nuclear amount of money printing like the world has never seen. So if you think you've happily saved your fiat in your bank account now, just wait when they flick that switch on that money printer and your $1,000 now has the purchasing power of 200. Congratulations on a brilliant economic move, my friend. So again,
Absolutely.
chill out, sit back, think straight, keep your head screwed on right, do the math. It's not complicated. Bitcoin in self-custody. It's the only way for you to save yourself. Not with an institution, not on an exchange, not with your grandmother, not with a friend. You have to keep it yourself. And that's it.
Rick, any parting comments?
No, I think that's a great place to finish. It kind of sums it all up. They're going to print money. They're going to print a lot of it because that's what governments always do when they're backed into a corner. So, look, Bitcoin in self-custody is the only safe haven. We've reached that point, and we're running out of time to really overthink this at this point. So, Tony's right. You've got to make these moves now.
Yeah, definitely. So for anyone listening, Bitcoin in self-custody, if you need help with that, do it the right way. Check out the bitcoinway.com/podcast. Schedule a call with a member of our team. If you're lucky enough, maybe you'll get to chat with Tony, and we'd love to share with you how it is we help specifically. And in this sort of world of turmoil too, I would add, people are looking for other protections, whether it's your digital life, whether it's a plan B. We help with all sorts of many aspects of these self-sovereign puzzles. So the bitcoinway.com/podcast. Gentlemen, as always, thanks for chatting. Good seeing you guys, and we'll talk soon.
Likewise, Michael. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers, everyone.